So anyways, there are people that sometimes are born into this Christian faith, and they don't ever go to the left or to the right. She became a missionary in the jungles. I mean, it's not that she hasn't lived. She's missionary in the jungle. Her husband fishing for the food. Hello? Let me hear it. So I want you to give an incredible welcome to Lynnie Walker for tonight. Let me hear you, okay? You want to forward? I know how to dance.
Hey, I don't like to be too far away from people. First time I went to, I was invited for about 5 years in a row to go speak at these big women's conferences in Mexico. And their first meeting that they had was 700 people. And I was just so intimidated by this, and they had me up on this platform. I said, "Can't you bring me down a little bit?" So they had to find some way to get me farther down so I could be at the level of the people. But anyway, Rita's one of my favorite people too. I just love her, and I've taken her to Peru, and she can preach in Spanish. I've taken her to France, and she can preach in French. She's translated from German for us, and it's just a blessing to have someone that can speak 5 languages and just is anointed by the Lord. And this is awesome, Rita. Wow. Is this your first conference to put on for Women of the Valley? So, anyway, we just love her. And I just want to tell a little bit about some material. She called and said, "Do you have stuff to bring to your book table?" I was like, "Book table? Oh, okay." So I wasn't going to bring anything, but here's my book, Heavenly Encounters, and it starts with me and Dennis in the jungle. That's where we got married. I was 18 and he was 21, and then our oldest daughter was born there, and now she is 36, and she and her husband are pastoring a church in California. Hard to believe, isn't it? My baby is 29, so we have 4 grandchildren. And so this tells a lot of the story of, even though it's a story, it's actually filled with many teachings as well. Because how many of you know that along life's path you learn lessons? And so sometimes you can read somebody else's life and thought, oh, well maybe I don't have to go through that because they learned it this way. And so this starts, it's actually called Heavenly Encounters from the Peruvian Jungle to Las Vegas. And then it ends really with Heavenly Encounters, and it tells the whole tent story of how the Lord told Dennis to buy a tent, and that God said, "I will meet with you in the tent and restore to you the Feast of Tabernacles," which signifies God dwelling with man. And then this is Dennis's latest book, Catching the Initiatives of Heaven, and this has been kind of his life story, life message, and until the Lord's even added more teachings recently, the garden, and those kind of things that need to come out too. But this is over at the book table. This is 12 and this is 15, but Dennis said I can offer whatever special I want. So I'm doing 2 for 20. How's that? So, and this is Spiritual Intimacy. It's a 6 CD set, and I had to bring my glasses because I can barely read the list on here. It's 10 Ways God Speaks, Intimacy in Prayer, and actually this used to be called 12 Areas of Release Through Intimacy with the Father, but it was a bit long, so, the title, so we reduced it down, and especially I decided to change it because it was 12 Areas of Release Through Intimacy. Finally we reduced it down, and somebody came up and said, "Is that about sex?" And I said, "No." So now I just call it Intimacy in Prayer. So, it even has the 9 Deadly Embraces prayer at the end of that one too. So, and then How to Soak in the Spirit, which is the one that, the only one on here that Dennis taught on, and our daughter is singing on the end of that. And this is the one that's actually being promoted now with Sid Roth. You know, they're promoting Dennis's book, and then also the How to Soak in the Spirit. Well, it's included in this whole set. 12 Ways to be Led by the Spirit. Intimacy with God includes joy and release to rise up. So that's 6 CD set, and I don't even know what the cost is. What is it, Wanda? Okay, 25. How about if we reduce it to 20 bucks for you guys, okay? And this is, there's some individual teachings, 5 kinds of eyesight, ways that we see things by the Spirit, by the flesh, critical eyes, eyes of potential, seeing the potential in other people and drawing that forth. So this is 5 different kinds of eyesight, and there's a prophetic eyesight that the Lord wants to give us to see people and see situations by the Spirit. This is another one called Growing in the Prophetic, and I got the biggest compliment from my mom because she says, Lynnie, I've been telling people where I'm attending that they really need to use that teaching. So I thought, well, thank you, Mom. Anyway, it's kind of a step-by-step of how to grow in the prophetic flow. So we will, how about if I go ahead and give these away? Who wants Growing in the Prophetic? And just walk up here, and whoever's here first. 5 kinds of eyesight. Just walk up here if you, all right. Catching the Initiatives of Heaven. Okay, Heavenly Encounters. Okay. And Spiritual Intimacy. Oh, okay. Anyway, I had an encounter with the Lord that I'm basing this teaching on. It's my first time to teach this. And it was just a couple of weeks ago, I really had this amazing, I woke up in the morning and had this amazing encounter with the Lord. So I'm going to tie it into that. And this is so cool what God is doing this weekend, because tomorrow morning I have to get up at 7 in the morning because I'm riding with Molly to Lake Havasu and teaching a ladies' tea on the reservation on the other side of the lake. How many of you know Kay Zimmerman? She pastors a Native American church, so she's put together a ladies' tea for me to speak at tomorrow at noon. And then Dennis and I will be there that weekend, this coming weekend, to speak at a couple of churches as well. But I just didn't know what to title this, so I'm just calling it The Power of Love, because it ties into the theme. What's the theme? Love. What's it called? Love of the Groom. Oh, okay. I didn't even know that. I just knew it was about love. You didn't either? Well, what is the love chapter? 1 Corinthians 13 is the most awesome chapter about love because it shows the powerful, unconditional love of the Lord. And it has transforming power.